So I wanted to make a little bit of a compilation video talking about some of the best phones that you can pretty much buy that are cheaper that have a really good cameras in 2022. Now here's the thing. These phones that I've listed are fairly older now, so the newer counterparts have much better cameras, but I was looking at around that $300 price tag and probably cheaper, and seeing what you can buy in the used market. Some of these iPhones and phones are more expensive than that, but typically these are considered more cheaper options nowadays. Like I mentioned, if you want to buy this newest Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra or the iPhone 13 Pro Max, those are probably going to give you better options. But the first phone I want to talk about is the Samsung Galaxy S10. This is by far probably the number one phone I can think of that has a great mixture of price and the camera quality. You can probably buy these things for around $200 and something in the used market, and these things, the phone itself is amazing. It's still a very solid phone. However, this thing's camera is still super good. I'm still surprised it handles everything that I throw at it this well. First of all, triple camera setup on the back. You have a wide, ultra wide, and telephoto lens, so you have the ability of zooming in and zooming out a ton. And even now, compared to pretty much all the other phones that have came out since then, this phone's camera still holds up very, very well. And personally, I am a humongous fan of the performance that this camera has given me. You have 4K at 60 on the front and the back. And one thing about Samsung phones, you have so much capability within the camera UI itself. You can literally still utilize this camera and not even utilize all the features within it. That's how many features there are built in with this specific phone. Now the next phone I want to talk about is the iPhone 11. Now this phone definitely, doesn't have the best camera anymore. It's also missing a telephoto lens, but this camera for its price tag is still very, very surprising. I think this camera still holds up pretty well to this day and age. Now you do have that wide and ultra wide sensor. You have 4K at 60 on the front and the back, which is really good. But the one thing I pretty much always recommend people to look at with something like an iPhone 11 is to pretty much remember that all of the social media applications you'll be using, things like TikTok and Snapchat and Instagram, pretty much utilize the raw camera that these phones have, and they make that capability and they make the quality of these phones' cameras look so much better in those applications. So even though it doesn't have a telephoto lens or anything, the camera quality still looks pretty good, especially in those social media applications. So that was the second phone that pretty much came into mind. Now the next one, you can actually buy brand new. This is the Pixel 5a. This phone I think costs $350 brand new, and that is a killer price to pay for a device like this. Now the camera quality isn't like exceptionally crazy. I think the iPhone 11's camera is probably better, but this thing is cheaper than an iPhone 11, but it also has, pretty much the same camera, a wide and an ultra wide lens, which is awesome. The only downside is that the front camera is only 1080p, but I don't really think that's a deal breaker either. And I do think with something like the Google Pixel 5a, that is still a very capable machine in terms of the camera quality, and I'm a humongous fan of that camera. If it had that telephoto lens, that would have been much better, but I think the Pixel 5a's camera for what it is still actually really, really good. And to finally end this video, I want to talk about the iPhone 8 Plus. Now this device, it wasn't the first one that came into mind, but I wanted something cheaper than even an iPhone 10, and the 8 Plus is a really good option too. Now again, not the best camera anymore. It lacks an ultra-wide sensor, no 4K at 60 on the front, but you still have a telephoto lens, and you still have the ability of shooting 4K at 60 on the back, which is still pretty good. Now on top of that, with something like the iPhone 8 Plus, very similar to the iPhone 11, you have the capability of actually, utilizing that same camera for those social media applications, which I talked about before is actually really, really relevant because you have the ability of pretty much utilizing the stock camera in those apps, and it always makes the quality look so much better. So in terms of that one, that kind of covers it up there as well. And that's pretty much the first couple of phones that came into mind of the best cheap phones with amazing cameras. If you have any other thoughts or if you know any other phones, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.